Welcome back, everybody. It's Robert. Um, Forgive my hoarseness in my voice. I'm kind of getting over a little bit of a sickness. Um, I had kind of a different thing to talk about today, but it goes along the lines of what I talk about on this channel. My dad recently has me postulating the difference between right and wrong. And when we learn right and wrong, and if there is truly a defined right and wrong. Now, my dad is very black and white, and I love my dad dearly. My father and I can have any conversation about any topic, and the end of which we clank beers together, we drink, we laugh. There's no fighting, there's no arguing. But he's got a very black and white way of looking at stuff, like yes or no. And while I appreciate that and I understand that, he's really had me thinking about this for the last couple of weeks. This idea of right and wrong. Um, and I said to him that I think that right and wrong is debatable. And he said, no, it's not debatable. I said, well, I said I've come up with a bunch of different reasons to support my argument that right and wrong is debatable. Um, you know, so there's different ways to look at right and wrong. Okay, so you've got a religious way to look at right and wrong. You've got a uh, state, federal, local law way of looking at right and wrong. And for me, you've got an ethical right and wrong. So let's look at right and wrong. Okay? We know that we are taught when we're children. We're taught not to lie. We're taught not to steal. We're taught not to backtalk. We're taught not to swear. Forgive me if I miss any. Um, we're taught to sit up straight. We're taught to not have a foul mouth because all those things they're wrong. Okay, um, so I argue with that because there are times where the wrong thing is the right thing to do. So, is there truly a right and wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Um, if you look in the biblical sense, it says, Thou shalt not kill. So we know that murder is wrong, okay? It's wrong on the religious level and it's wrong on the law side of, I'm not really sure how to put that. I guess the legal side. So the biblical side and the legal side say, Thou shalt not kill. However, at one point in time in history, it was okay for us to kill people because we thought they were witches. It was okay for us to string women up and burn them at the stake. And somehow that wasn't wrong. But it was wrong, right? Uh, we are told that murder is wrong, and yet somebody murders someone and people seek the death penalty. Now, I'm not saying that I'm for or against the death penalty. This is merely a right and wrong thing. So technically, it's not our job as people to make the decision about whether somebody should live or somebody should die. If you just look at it through a strict black and white lens of right and wrong, it's not our job. So imprisonment for the rest of your life, and then you'll die, and you'll go face whatever is next, which none of us knows. But right and wrong is debatable because, even if you look at the legal sense, all right, look at, I don't know, let's take something controversial. Let's take the O.J. Simpson trial. Not 50% of the country believes that O.J. killed his wife and her boyfriend. 50% of the country thinks that O.J. didn't do it. O.J.'s legal team that he paid good money for got him acquitted of this crime. Now, to O.J., he didn't do anything wrong. To 50% of the country, he did something wrong. Now, let's take it even further than that. Because we've written stories about people who have done wrong and yet are heroes. So let's look at Robin Hood. Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor. These are legends, stories passed down through the ages. I'm not that historic on that side, but is Robin Hood wrong? Don't know. It's not like he robbed the rich to become rich, but you're justifying him breaking the law, and people find him a hero, and some people find him a villain. So, right and wrong is debatable. Is it right to go commit a mass shooting? No, it isn't. I don't think it's right. I'm not condoning violence whatsoever, because violence is not the answer. But, even though I'm sure that this will be offensive, at one point in time, if a woman asked you if a dress on her made her look fat, did you say no or did you say yes? Most men said, no, you look beautiful. Because to them, you look beautiful. So is telling a little white lie wrong? I don't know. But I've been stuck on this right versus wrong thing. Just because, we're taught right from wrong. But do we really know right from wrong? Because if I were a millionaire and I wanted to rob everybody blind, I would, in the eyes of the law, get away with it, most likely, as we've seen throughout history. And to me, the rich person, I didn't do anything wrong. To the people that I hurt, or that I stole money from, to them, what I did was wrong. I don't really see any topic as a straight line, because every topic to me is skewed. It's skewed one way or another, because again, like I talked about before, it's all about perspective. If you're the poor people that were looking forward to Robin Hood bringing you food Robin Hood was a hero. If you were the sheriff of Nottingham and, you know, the higher ups in England, Robin Hood was a thief. You know, like we're it's just I just find it debatable, and I find it once again that this is another topic that comes back to perspective. And we have to keep that in mind. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and you know, probably the biggest topic is the coronavirus that's going around. And I'm seeing a lot of hatred towards Asia and Asians, and I don't think that's right. You know, I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about where we think it originated, but to then be like, well, you know, I don't want any fucking Asians in my town. Like, that's not cool. That's not the way to think. You know, like it just like in World War II, not all the Japanese people were bad people. And my hope is that this coronavirus, you know, I'm all about conspiracy theories, but my hope is that this coronavirus was not something that was man-made, that just happened to get fucked up, and now it's going to spread across the world like wildfire, like it's already doing. But that's no reason for us to hate anybody from China or Asia. Okay, and believe me, I don't have the best relationship with Asians based on, you know, personal experience, but that was with one Asian, not all of them. So yeah, and I got dislike for one, which I don't even really have dislike for her anymore because she's been out of my life now for like 10 years. But, you know, I'm never going to be like, oh, well, the Asians did this. No, somehow or another, you know, this is just a fact of life. These things happen. You know, but bringing it back for a minute, just so I don't make this video too long, so I don't piss off my viewers, the few that I do have, that like it short and sweet. You know, right and wrong in many ways is very debatable. And I know that that's hard to see, and I know that that's hard to allow your mind to see, but, you know, when you hear stories in the Bible about even going back to Abraham, you know, that God told him to take this land, and or no, that was Saul. It was Saul, the first king. He was told by the priest. What was his name? I don't remember his name. But Saul called out to his priest because his priest, Samuel was his name, the priest, who told him that God said, you go down there, you kill everything and everyone. All right, well, this was several years after Moses brings the tablets down from Mount Sinai that says, thou shalt not kill. But you're saying that God is telling me to kill. So, again, where's the line between right and wrong? Because if your God is telling you to kill, but the law is telling you not to kill, and at the same time God has written not to kill, but you kill because you say God told you to kill, how does that make you right? I know that was a lot in one, you know, in one setting, so you might have to rewind this and listen to that again. But, you know, it's right and wrong is debatable. You know, if you want your child not to swear, then you teach them not to swear. How do you teach them not to swear? You don't swear in front of your child. Like, if you don't want your child to learn to hit people, don't hit people in front of your child. Sounds like it's really simple, but my parents didn't swear when I was growing up. I seldom heard my parents swear, but guess what? I love to swear. I have a very vast, wonderful vocabulary, but I love to drop me some F-bombs and say all the other words when they fit the sentence, when they fit the need. You know, like there's a lot of things, you know, like this. People blaming Asians for the coronavirus. It's bullshit. Like, seriously. But the point is, yes, there is a right and there is a wrong. But there's kind of a gray area. Because if somebody's attacking me and I got to defend myself and I kill them, that's called justifiable homicide. But technically, according to God's law, thou shalt not kill. If it's you killing me or me killing you, I'm going to do my best to kill you. I'm going to feel bad for it. I'm going to feel guilty. But I'm going to defend my life, period. You know, so I just I don't believe that the right and wrong is as black and white as people might think it is. Because it's not. We live in a world full of color. And we can't just take things and put them into this nice, neat little box that says black or white, yes or no. Because in a lot of ways, in a lot of situations, there's a maybe in the middle. And, you know, it's like, it kind of ties into everything else that I talk about, you know, whether it's racism or politics or whatever, you know, people think that it's got to be one side or the other. And it doesn't have to be one side or the other. You can understand both sides and still have your opinion, but have respect for each other in the end. And that's the point. That's pretty much the point, is respect for one another, regardless of what angle you're coming at it from. Unless you're coming at it from like some ungodly, like, fuck the world perspective, you can't have a conversation. But if you can both meet right here, prime example before I end this video, 3 nights ago, I went into my local bar that I like to go to. And they got an outside smoking bar. And then you know, when that closes, you go into the inside bar. Well, I walked in, and there's an African-American fella sitting at the end of the bar who turned around and looked at me. Never met him in my life. Looked me dead in my eye with a smile on his face and said, "You look like a fat white guy that could be black." I didn't know what to say. I smiled, I laughed, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't even know what that means. We shook hands, I sat down with him for a minute. I said, "What are you drinking?" He said, "I'm drinking Tequila Rose." So I ordered 2 shots of Tequila Rose. He says, "Do you want to fight?" I said, "No, I don't want to fight." I said, "I just don't understand why you called me a fat white guy who looks like I could be black." I still don't understand it. I guess I have a theory in my head that I'll save for another time. But he said, "You look like a fat white guy that could be black." So we took a shot, and we laughed together. That was the end of the conversation. But what goes through my head is, Had he said that to the wrong fat white guy, would that situation have ended any different? And I have to believe that it would have. I still don't know what the fuck he meant by it. But, I don't, rather than get mad or ignore him or whatever, I'm like, sat down with him for a minute, talked for a couple minutes, realized that he was drunk out of his mind, so it was all good, but he wasn't coming at me with hostility. He wasn't coming at me with any type of anger. Like, this is just what came out of his mouth from the first moment that he saw me, and I don't know, thought it was funny. Was I right or was I wrong by my response? I guess it depends on who you talk to. Because if you talk to some white people in the world, they got a different opinion about the way that I handled it. You talk to other ones, they had done the same thing. I don't know. So I think that right and wrong is debatable, and it's all about perspective. And I think it has a lot to do with how you see life. Because if I was that poor and I had a family and I had to steal a loaf of bread to feed my family, for me it wouldn't be wrong. To the store and to the police, it would be wrong. But for me, it wouldn't be wrong because I'd be trying to feed my family. So, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I got to go rest my voice. But I appreciate your views. Hope you continue to spread the peace and love. And I'll be back again soon.